All right. Today is November 23rd, 2020. I am going to be reading Kingdom Come. It was drawn and painted by Alex Ross and written by Mark Waid. And then Todd Klein did the lettering. Came out in 1996. I just read chapter 1. I'm just getting right fucking into it. I'll say this is pretty much the climax of issue 1. I don't really want to spoil too much, and I also don't want to be a Wikipedia entry. I guess, well, let me just show that off. But one of the cool things about Kingdom Come, I read this as a kid, and I just remember liking it a lot. So far, I'll keep that comment to myself. It's no point in comparing. But the cool thing about Kingdom Come is obviously you got these characters that have been known for a very long time, and in this case, to I guess date it, Batman is an old man, so he's still alive, but he's an old man. In the first issue, they're just showing you the world, or the landscape, the layout of this story of this, I guess this universe of sorts. Clearly, it's been around for a while. You got a pastor. I cannot remember his name off the top of my head right now. And then you also got another man who the pastor was friends with, who was at one point Sandman. So this is, there's kind of like some elements, like kind of reminds me a little bit of like Watchmen and The Dark Knight. I don't know if it's Dark Knight Returns or anyway. But and I'm talking about the comics, not the book or the movie. Excuse me. Just there are some similar themes. They're kind of, because at first they're saying, I guess to put it in a nutshell or whatever. The first generation of heroes acknowledged for the most part that they were heroes, and that then they also were protectors and had to, and they were the next step of sorts. The generations that have come after have more or less just kind of made the Earth, the arena, or the Coliseum or even the battleground or the warfield, or the battlefield. Or war grounds. Anyway. Within that time frame of this, in this telling of this issue, it was like kind of present moment. This was not, it wasn't like a flashback or something, but at least as far as I know, it was kind of taking place as is. They're just just showing what pretty much is going to happen later on, just on a much smaller scale. Or maybe, I don't know if from what they say, I think they said like 4 or 5 states were affected by this event. And I don't know how big the event is in the end. And I feel like I'm obviously already giving it away, but at the same time, though, it is kind of an older book. 1996, so it's 24 years old now. If you are into DC, you're probably gonna really fucking love this book. Most likely. It's the panel layout is just fantastic. It's very smooth. The transition, the storytelling, telling the story from panel to panel is very smooth. You totally get what's going on. They show off a lot of the characters that we know and love. Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, the Flash. The Flash character is so fucking badass. And I forgot about Magog. Magog is a very, I guess that's one character I just kind of like. A lot of these characters I first encountered because of a board game called HeroClix. There was like a lot of these characters like Magog, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. I think even Hawkman. I think even Red Robin. I don't know if I said Green Lantern already. a lot of these older characters, I think even Shazam maybe. But anyway, it just once again, a lot of these characters that you know and love, and you're seeing them like old as fuck. And I'm not gonna lie. I mean, the event that happened. I guess I'll this is the event that I'm referring to. I know I showed it for a second, but I guess you can pause it. And if you didn't get enough time to see what I even showed, I mean, I guess I'll show it for one more second. But just fucking pick it up. Pick the book up, man. I'm not gonna, I'm just showing it just to show. I mean, that the artwork is fantastic. I just wanna. It said the entire state of Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri. Just so that's a fuck ton of. Yeah. But they're just once again just showing out the layout of the land, I guess, where the characters are now. A lot of these characters that you loved, and they are starting to trickle in some of the new characters. And the main message is just going like, once again, the first generation, they kind of need to they need to guide the second generation, because otherwise, if you the second generation alone to do whatever they want to do, there's a chance like gonna do some fucked up shit. You know what I mean? Like they got the freedom to, they didn't have anyone to look up. I mean, the people that they look up to are not there. That's essentially what it is. I do want to say, I mean, once again, like Batman. They said Batman's got his fucking city down. He's got Gotham City down. I can't remember what the Flash's city is off the top of my head. But it's how his powers have gotten to are just amazing. Just like what they said, like he's just like he's everywhere at every moment in time. But he's almost like a spirit of sorts. So it's so fucking cool, man. Yeah. Like I said, like Batman's got his shit under control, man. Like fucking, I forgot what these Batman. I forgot what these. I think they're Bat Sentinels or something like that, or Sentries or whatever. Bat Sentry. I can't remember, but they were also in HeroClix as well. Sentries also or not Sentry. Sorry, I'm thinking of Marvel. Spectre or fuck, what's his fucking name? Is it Spectre? I have to fucking remember. I have to fucking look. Is it Spectre? Is it just? I don't think it's Spectre. I can't remember his fucking name. But god damn, that's gonna drive me fucking mad, man. But this is the kind of like the turning point of sorts. Like for the last decade, the next generation have been really fucking shit up, and this is what I wanted to show. Keystone City, that's what it is. Yeah. Green Lantern's in his like fucking Emerald City or whatever the fuck, in this land you're just floating in the fucking in space, just waiting for aliens. But Wonder Woman came to Superman and was saying like, we got to do something, and I'm sure it's not the first time she said something to him about that. I mean, I don't want to leave this going on too long. I can't remember his fucking name to save my life. I feel like a fucking dunce. I guess right before I get to the end, I guess I'm going to show the memorial, I guess they call it. One of the cool things, I don't know if I finished my idea that I was saying or whatever, but one of the cool things is, even though a lot of these characters, might even be, the original character, or there's like a second or third kind of spin-off, like the third, like Black Canary the third, Catwoman the second, Joker's daughter the second, there's still also a lot of new characters as well. So, I don't know, I'll just show this. I mean, once again, type in Kingdom Come Memorial on Google to get a better look at this, to see, this is just showing a bunch of it might even be showing all the characters. 22 Spectre, yeah, just Spectre. I thought that was it. Just Spectre just sounded like just such a just the name Spectre. Yeah, but yeah, Spectre's a pretty important component. I was gonna say important component at the same time. But anyway, I don't want to keep this fucking going on too much longer, but I forgot what chapter 1 was called, but we're going into chapter 2 now, which is called Truth and Justice. I was going to show that. Alright, man, it sucks I opened that page first. Okay. Not that it really matters, I gotta show this. It is kind of cool at the same time. It says strange, so chapter 1 was Strange Visitor, and chapter 2 is Truth and Justice. So I'll show that. You could see like a big, a span. I mean, can you guess which ones are Catwoman the second and Joker's daughter the second? I'm pretty sure you probably can. But at the same time, though, I mean, like, anyone who doesn't, do you know Magog? So it's just, it's a, I don't know if he was actually, this is his first time ever, making an appearance in this, DC universe, or he's shown up beforehand. I'm not totally familiar. But he's one of the biggest problems right now. Yeah, this is Truth and Justice, chapter 2. I mean, like, once again, the layout is fucking just... The fact that there's this much realism put into a comic book really makes... I mean, I feel like even if you don't read comic books, like, they can at least go, like, this is art. I mean, you can't deny that doesn't look like art. Like, that's just... There's gotta be, like, a certain level of respect, just... I mean, like, because, I'm not gonna lie, don't get me wrong, I mean, like... I do like the cartoony look, but clearly there's a childish look to it compared to children probably aren't going to read. They probably will not read this unless they're like on the mature level, I guess. But anyway, I digress there. But yeah, fucking I don't know, man. It's just it does also remind me of like I mean. Marvel's Civil War kind of has a similar idea but they don't go really as into the government stance as what this is. This is kind of like first generation dealing with the second generation, pretty much giving them a spanking of sorts. But the second generation isn't going down without a fight. There's no doubt about that. So I'll leave it with that. Okay, so I just finished chapter 2. A lot happens. I mean, these are beefy ass issues, or chapters, I guess. But I mean, I guess there could be 3 sides here, but the 2 sides are there's Superman who's bringing back the Justice League and coming to terms that we need, some people need to stand up and be leaders, even if they who really wants to fucking lead? I mean, like, especially with Superman. I mean, he's got to lead all of these other powerhouses that are, if they were to oppose, I mean, Superman's got a big problem on his hands. Or Superman's got a big, anyway, yeah, he's gonna have a big problem. And I mean, there's already been a big problem. Clearly, I mean, with this new generation that are just pretty much using the Earth as a battleground, or a battlefield, whatever. And human casualties are just kind of like, not even being defended; they're just being lost. Well, I guess human lives are being lost. There's a lot of casualties. I wish I can't fucking speak. So there's one side, Superman and the Justice League, throughout this issue has been trying to bring back old members like Batman, and even Aquaman. But the other side are a bunch of humans for the most part. I believe most of them are humans, or evil people in general. A lot of rich people, I would say, and they're aware of the problem of whether these heroes are, I guess, extremist vigilantes, or if they're, being paid off by this corporation, this group of people. You got Lex Luthor and a couple others. I guess like the Riddler is a part of this. Even Shazam, which I believe, if I remember right, Shazam's just a kid who just says Shazam and turns into, Shazam, I guess, Captain Marvel. If I remember right. And Batman, he's not helping out the Justice League. He's not gonna rejoin the Justice League at all. I mean, because it makes you wonder, like, why the hell would Batman not join up? Clearly he's got this what Superman would call like a what is that? I think he said super. Hold on. He called it like a super. Fuck, man, like super cop kind of shit. I forget what the fuck it was called. Which I think was that in chapter 1 actually? Like, where the fuck? Okay, here we are. Fuck. I fucking wish I had the exact quote. Fuck, man. It's the next page. Please state. Fuck. Please state. Alright. I mean, I apologize for the fucking wait. God damn. But anyway, I mean, I already kind of mentioned he's got, Gotham City's pretty much in Batman's hands right there, and he's got it under control. He got it with an iron fist, but it's someone who's just a human. Batman being a human, he could totally see how the next generation of superhumans are totally fucking over and not giving a shit about humans in general. So there's that. There's, like I said, Justice League, and you got the other side, which is they are aware, like Lex Luthor, they're aware that if they can somehow pretty much get all these metahumans to kill each other, then they'll be the ones left standing. They'll be the richest and strongest. That's their plan. And I'll just show this. This is pretty much them saying that. And once again, I don't know if I mentioned this, and they kind of did say that it was kind of like a god. These are pretty much, a lot of them are just gods. A lot of them are gods. Fuck. The artwork has got like almost like this kind of afterglow or this ethereal. I don't know if I mentioned this. Like almost like this kind of godly, like you're kind of looking from afar. Because we're just humans, we would not even be able to touch these. I don't know. I guess this situation, we wouldn't be in these shoes. I guess. I feel like I said that pretty shittily. But Superman, he's pretty much going like either in or you're out, and if you're out, we're gonna have to kick your ass because we need peace. And from that time, they're trying to figure out what do we do with the people that are not joining the Justice League. They're still villains, but they're metahumans, and they're like, well, we gotta fucking imprison them in some way. So Wonder Woman's like, let's go to Aquaman. Aquaman's like, fuck no, you kidding me? I'm not gonna do that shit. He goes to a couple of different places. Goes to where Darkseid, Acropolis is, and there's I forgot his name. Orion. He takes over. He's able to take out Darkseid. And the other thing is Magog, who 10 years ago he was able to to make Superman leave because everyone believed that Magog was like the next generation, that he was the new guy and Superman was the old guy. And the whole argument that sometimes you need to kill, and Magog ended up killing a very prominent villain in the DC universe, and it's like something that should have been done for all this time. And I guess as a hero, you're always supposed to believe that maybe one day they'll come to terms of believing that everything that they've been doing in their past up to that point was all bad, and that they can change a new leaf, I guess. That's essentially the hero code for the most part, peace and all that, and to stop anyone who's trying to remove peace. But Magog in this issue is going like, I was fucking wrong, man. I was fucking wrong. And Superman, I guess, was wrong too, because he shouldn't have left. He should have stuck around. But at the same time, I mean, like when you have an entire a bunch of people going just pretty much saying like, oh, we don't need you anymore. You know what I mean? It's like all right, man, I guess. And you see what happens 10 years later. So I think pretty much by the end of chapter 2, I think Superman finally was able to find a way to store, I guess to imprison any of the metahumans that that are against, that are evil or whatever. And then it ends with a nice little handshake of evil of sorts. I mean, in some regards, it's kind of like someone like Lex Luthor and anyone who's like kind of like obviously seeing envy or jealousy in the metahumans. They're kind of like they want to hold on to power. They want to be king of the hill, and they've been king of the hill, and they'll lose king of the hill. They'll lose that kingship to these metahumans sooner rather than later if they don't do anything about it. So it is kind of that tale of like even nowadays, just the old generation is not going to give it up willingly, and which is a good thing and it can be a bad thing. Because the bad thing is if they're not even necessarily even greed in terms of money, which is often the case, but just greed in terms of power, just like they wanted. Because it's like there should be a natural. If you are going to be in power, there should be a natural like age expectancy. Whereas like if you're always in power and no one else has a chance to get in power, you know what I mean. There can be a lot of problems with that. There can be a lot of problems. I mean, for example, the person in power might not even know how to solve the problem, but if they were to have given up their power to someone else who, is, I don't know, I guess a little bit more savvy, I guess, with it all. I mean, it's, obviously that's a lot of debate there, that's fucking, that's why we got democracy and everything. But, anyway, I don't, once again, I'm trying not to fucking be a fucking summary, and I feel like I kind of did that just now. But once again, the panel layout, fucking natural progression, I just read, which came out in 2019, Powers of X, House of X, and I'm not gonna lie, it was a pretty good story, but one of the problems I guess they were tying up loose ends, but I just felt like, with this, like, they're not really tying up loose ends. Like, they're kind of like, and maybe they will in the last, obviously the last chapter and epilogue or whatever. But, they're just going right into it. Just like this, the problem, the event, like everything, just showing the important parts, like all the other small details for the most part are kind of being, they're not really that important. Like, I guess, like, clearly, you got to figure out where you're going to put these metahumans. You got to find a new prison that can handle them. So, I guess that's a very important detail. But, once when you got that figured out, now you're just, by this point, Justice League is just trying to go around the world and sweep and clean and do what they should have been doing for, the last 10 years. But if you don't know the threat, if you don't realize the potential threat in it, then you know what I mean. Yeah, I feel like it can catch you off guard, and that's what happened here. So I'll show this. This is chapter 3, Up in the Sky. Once again, fucking beautiful artwork. But yeah, we're getting really close. I can't believe there's only 4 chapters, but at the same time, though, I feel like it's just perfect. You're just, once again, it's so concentrated. The storyline is so concentrated. I can't, they said his name again, but the pastor, he's kind of, if anything, it's kind of like, Spectre and the pastor are kind of like commentators or like narrators of sorts. And I think it's kind of, I don't know, like, is it necessary? Maybe, maybe not, but it definitely applies to the story and the whole message of everything. Especially the very beginning, kind of just like, once again, it could be seen as tedious, just like pretty much just let's just get to the fucking superheroes. Don't show me an old guy. But if you fucking pay attention to what they're saying, it's pretty much telling the exact story of what's, I don't know. I just think it's pretty straightforward of a story. There's no doubt about it. It's just pretty much once when the Justice League get to the Stronghold, or maybe I guess what is the opposing side? I forgot what they call themselves. Hold on, it was literally on that one page. See, wasn't it? Yeah, Mankind Liberation Front, MLF. Yeah, Mankind Liberation Front. So you got Mankind against the metahumans, essentially. But the Mankind is essentially paying off some of the fucking metahumans to help them. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's really much else to say. Yeah, I feel like I pretty much said everything. I mean, I feel like I did summarize it pretty much. I feel like a dickhead for doing that. I don't know, man. I don't. It's pretty straightforward, honestly, man. Like this. I don't know why this story was told in 1996. I don't know why it wasn't told in like 1986 or 1976. I mean, maybe 86 would be better, but like, anyway, it just it seems like one of those timeless tales, man. It's just surprising. It like 96 is when it came out. It's so surprising. Fucking A. Anyway, but you know, it's a you know, I mean, like, it just, once again, it's just that generational story, that just like, you know, the next generation needs to learn from the past generation, otherwise, you know, history will repeat itself, or worse. I mean, like, way worse. I mean, in this case, like, history did not repeat itself, and it could have repeated itself, but you know, you don't have any anchors. It's surprising that there, you know, maybe there just wasn't. I mean, I guess it's debatable, because I mean, like, well, there definitely would be a lot more metahumans through time, most likely. So, and that you know, just like a lot of disorder. You know, there's not a lot of order going on, especially when, like, you know, it's like, say if the United States just packed their bags. You know, the government just packed its bags, and it's just like, okay, the land of America is on its own now. You know, it's just like, that's what the Justice League, that's what Superman kind of did for 10 years. It's just like, what the fuck? And it's crazy. I mean, it really, you know, does show. I mean, like, I guess on this level, you know, into a, you know, I guess it could be a meta level or whatever. But yeah, it's, well, once again, that generational thing, man. Like, just fuck, man. You might have no choice. Like, that's the other thing. You have no choice. Sometimes you have to stand up. I mean, it's that. I mean, obviously, I'm stealing from Marvel. You know, Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility. But it's literally, that's it. And this is that in a nutshell right here. So, I guess I'll leave it with that. All right. So I just finished chapter 3. I would call this chapter like the calm before the storm. I mean, definitely. Yeah, I'd definitely say that. I mean, some things were already like kind of like coming off the rails per se before the end of the third chapter. But Batman's a double agent, which I totally fucking forgot. I mean, I feel like I kind of already just gave away what happens there. But I mean, essentially, that Mankind, whatever the fuck, Liberation Front or whatever the fuck that, they're pretty much, they're not the big issue. The big issue, once again, was a metahuman war. That was and that's what we're getting into, is the last chapter of that, of, you know, fucking A. I mean, I don't know if there's, I mean, once again, it was, you know, there were some loose ends being tied up for sure, but you know, the show must go on. It's pretty, once again, this is a very concentrated story. And Shazam, once again, I was wrong as to why he's was on that team. I mean, I guess that what is it? Once again, I think it was the Mankind Liberation Front. Once again, I just I don't remember if it was Liberation. Yeah, Mankind Liberation Front. Yeah, so I guess in a sense, like, I mean, it's kind of like the head has been chopped off, but like the body still remains. You still, I mean, that jail or the prison that was built up, I guess it was put in Kansas. There's already a fucking riot already happening, and now the Justice League are going to deal with that fucking riot. And this is this is where the war begins, really, and it's gonna be a very short war. I mean, I guess if you want to say maybe the war's been going on for 10 years, maybe, but realistically, if you don't count the last 10 years as like a war, this war has been pretty, like, I would say, like, maybe like 2 weeks or something like that. It's gonna, you know, I mean, I guess, spoiler alert, it's gonna end pretty quickly. So, but I mean, just it's not even necessarily even like old against new. I mean, it kind of is that, but some of the new is even siding with some of the old, with Superman and the Justice League, because they understand and have been fighting for the same thing that the Justice League has always been fighting for. You just needed order, and if you don't have, once again, that team, alone, even as a small team alone is fine, but when you're a big, I mean, like, you got they're now watching over the entire world again, whereas before, I mean, the world was kind of being watched over, sort of, but it was like this free-for-all. So it's like, really, once when you build a foundation, it's just like, you gotta make sure that shit doesn't break, especially if it's such a necessary foundation. I guess there are two things I wanted to show in this funny little scene, but it was a very important scene, this scene right here. And I guess it happened a little bit beforehand. But nice little funny gag at the end. But at the same time, as funny as that it ends, it also is a very kind of... I'll read... this thing, even, there's been some moments, like when Superman first showed up, that was really one of those, like, touching moments, like, holy shit. It just makes you go, like, he's back, and it's fine, like, I don't know, even though, like, he really hasn't been gone, but at the same time, though, the way the story has been going, the way it was written really made you go, fuck, man. But, okay, so, Superman's saying, or Kal is saying to Bruce, the deliberate taking of human, even superhuman life goes against every belief I have and that you have. That's the one thing we've always had in common. It's what made us what we are. More than anyone in the world, when you scratch everything else away from Batman, you're left with someone who doesn't want to see anybody die. So, I mean, and that, even, it's very powerful. That's a very powerful message. And maybe Batman might, I mean, I don't think he necessarily forgot about that, but I mean, he definitely lost his humanity if he's fucking using robots to pretty much solve the crime for him. And even though he's obviously, he's watching and everything, but and he's doing the best. He's still doing the best that he can, and you can't lie. I mean, Batman clearly has to have at least some kind of envy or jealousy of Superman or any other metahuman, because clearly, he's just a human. He's doing the best that he can with what he has, which he does have a lot, but. You're telling me that Bruce Wayne, even for one day, wouldn't want to have the powers of Superman. Come on. Like, just one day, fucking an hour, who the fuck wouldn't want that? So, but there really isn't much else to say. I mean, we're getting into chapter 4, man. Never-ending battle here, man. This is fucking A, man. So, let's get right into it. So, I just finished, Chapter 4 and the epilogue. It kind of just goes right into it, and it's very short. It's probably, this is the climax of the book. Clearly, obviously, I always feel I don't say obviously, but I would say this is probably, like, I mean, without spoiling it too much, this is like the moment right before the climax of the climax. I mean, the artwork, I just remember as a kid, like, this next scene. I guess the page after that page. And this is also pretty beautiful. I mean, I guess I'll show this too. But it's a very, one thing I forgot to mention before I get back into chapter 4, but with this Mankind Liberation Front or whatever, whether you take it as them or, just any other evil force, or, you take it into this meta, to real world or whatever, if you see Superman was in this Justice League, we're trying to solve everything, and the MLF, they were saying Lex Luthor was he had this 10-year plan, they had to turn it in 10 days, and they actually had the power to still do it in 10 days rather than the 10 years. 10 years probably saved them a lot more money and profit or whatever. And clearly, once again, they were doing it just so that they can reign supreme. The judgment call for a nuke being dropped, like, how do you, the idea is clearly you do it so that you can, otherwise it's just going to keep on going for, who knows how long, and more lives will probably be lost compared to if you just drop it now. And it's like, kind of like, once again, that the idea of a train's coming, it's going to either kill 2 people or 5 people, and you'd probably rather save the 5 people compared to the 2. I guess there might be some cases where the 2 people are more important than the 5, I guess, but that's kind of disturbing. It's a very disturbing. I mean, it's wrong. I mean, like, there isn't really any right in it. I mean, it's just, I guess, like, the lesser evil must be chosen. And one of the other ideas that was brought up in chapter 4 was the idea of balance. And, clearly, it's always putting 2 and 2 together, but, with balance, even like the smallest movement, the smallest weight adjustment can completely change those 2 sides. And that's the other thing, it'll kind of sway for a little bit before it balances again. So, and if once again one side weighs more, it's going to, sway before, and anyway, so... Very cool idea. And the idea of bringing Shazam, I mean, it's just kind of like these perfect puzzle pieces for this message that's being told. Shazam being both half man and being a metahuman based on being, having the powers of Captain Marvel. I really want to show this. I'm going to fucking show, I don't give a fuck, dude. This is some carnage. Just look at that shit. Just carnage, man. Like that. This is the, if any panel, this is the one panel I remember out of all of this entire book. Such a fucking powerful panel. And it just shows you, regardless of a metahuman or if technology advances and, we have this ongoing war that just like never ends based on, differences and stuff. That's the result right there. That's the fucking result. The only people that survive are the strongest. And that's sometimes not even always the case. Some heroes were lucky. I probably picked as favorites. But once again, probably telling a message once again. And in a way, this is the storytelling of just like removing almost all metahumans from existence, thereby creating balance again, which will only be momentary before it happens again. Because history repeats itself, and it kind of does correlate really, really well with the House of X, Powers of X kind of storyline. Even though once again they're like 23 years apart. But there are a lot of similarities to them. But that's just because, hypothetical, just because I just happened to read it just yesterday. These last 2 stories. But, yeah. And, once again, it's like, an eye for an eye. Like, you can't do that shit because it's just going to keep going on and on and on forever. You got to one side's got to be the bigger man, essentially. And just go, all right, a lot has been lost. There are differences here. But one thing we all have in common is that we're all human. We're all living on this planet together. And we got to make the best of it. Clearly there's going to be differences. But got to do our best to compromise, to figure out who's right and who's wrong, and etc. I will say the 1 year later, on one side it's kind of like a little hokey, but the other side, it's kind of like a why not. This is a little, it's kind of, I'll just say this spoiler, but Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman, Diana Prince, is it Diana Prince? Diana, anyway, I know it's Diana, but Diana and Cal, or Diana and Clark, they end up having a kid, which is kind of like, no shit, but once again, a little hokey at the same time, kind of like a little like happy ending of sorts, even though pretty fucked up ending too. Giant lesson to be learned for sure. But at the same time, though, who else could take Cal's seed? That's that thought. So that's why it makes it a little hokey. Because Lois Lane, right? She's not gonna handle that shit. But I don't know, just a little hope. I mean, did they even? I mean, I guess like it's just kind of like why not? Because it's like, and also it was the whole message, having Spectre and the pastor. I think his name is Norman. I could be wrong. Norman McKay, yeah, Norman McKay, the pastor. He needed to give Spectre his humanity back in a sense. Not like literally like Norman took it from him, but Spectre lost it. Being this metahuman for so long, being on the outskirts for so long. Being on this, you can definitely lose that feeling for sure. There's no doubt about that. I mean, look at a lot of people that become famous or, seen as almost godlike or heroes or whatever, being put on a pedestal. But, like a lot of times they can't even, tell you the price of fucking a gallon of milk. So it's just like, how can you really be that human, even though you are human? So it's just that whole dynamic, that whole power dynamic of, I guess weak and strong, but it's more than that, and the weak wanting to hold on, I guess. But I don't know if there's really much else to say. 'Cause, I mean, like in a main sense, like once again, like say a transition of power happens, the person most likely is not always going to be willing to give up that power if they can try at any way they possibly can to do that, to keep power. Say like once again, we'll say we got gas companies and all that shit. They clear and or cigarettes, whatever. I think gas company would be a better example here. And the transition of like solar power or fucking electricity, electricity powering the car instead of gas or whatever. Like this is something that could have probably happened years ago, but that transition of power. Whoever's in power has a lot of power to keep that power, but eventually, inevitably, hopefully, you can pull that power from their grip. That's all you can hope for. I mean, I guess the only thing you can argue is like people that have that kind of power should stay in power because they have been able to maintain that grip for as long as they can. But it's a whole debate in itself. But that's about it. If you made it this far, thanks for listening. Hope you pick up Kingdom Come if you haven't already read it yourself. I mean, once again, it's a wonderful book. I do think, once again, Superman and Wonder Woman having a baby on the way. I mean, on one side, it's a little hokey, and it's kind of like that little, like happy ending kind of thing, but I don't know. How do you really end the book like that after such a tragic ending? So, new life. So... and let it naturally progress rather than, I mean, like, it's inevitable that it's gonna, once again, it's gonna happen again. It's just inevitable. You just gotta hope that this foundation stands when it happens again, and it can, handle it, just to maintain, stay strong and live on. But at the same time, though, it's always that debate of like, what is right and who knows what right is and everything. But there's definitely, right and wrong, I mean, like, human life, it should be alive, but at the same time, it's okay, so one of the debates, obviously, is abortion and everything, people that, don't think babies should be, killed or whatever, that haven't been formed or whatever, and then you got, the other side where if someone's killed enough or done bad enough, they should be executed or whatever, so it's just like, I guess you could argue that, someone who's taken life should, have their life be taken away compared to something that something is, it's considered just something until it becomes someone. But, it didn't do anything wrong. Why should it, lose its life or whatever? But, there's all that, there's a lot of debate, and even in that, I guess. And this is now completely off tangent, but, I don't know what the fuck. I don't know how I even got to that point. All right, I almost kind of want to even like remove that section. Like, what's the point of why did I even add that in there? Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care. All right, today is November 24th, 2020. I was just thinking about Kingdom Come a little bit more, and specifically with Batman. Like, I mentioned he was like a double agent, but like. So there were some times where Batman was acting funny. I mean, clearly you could tell, like, you know, when he was talking to fucking Lex Luthor, he was, you know, he's playing the bad guy, and I can't believe Lex Luthor fucking fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. But the reason why I think Lex Luthor did fall for it is because I do think Batman genuinely felt pretty strongly about how, you know, about all of it, even if he was playing a lot of it as a charade or whatever. Because, I mean, thinking about it, right before the whole story starts, he's got Gotham City under his thumb, and the biggest problem would be if these metahumans were to, say, unite and then decide, let's, you know, take over fucking Gotham City. And then Batman, you know, he's got all these bat sentries or whatever, these bat bots. I mean, I believe they're called bat sentries. I could be wrong once again, but you know, if they're strong enough metahumans, they can take down Batman because he's just by himself. And I don't. Maybe he came to the conclusion, but I just, we'll see. Because I mean, once again, like, I think he did learn a little bit, but I think he had to remember who he was and everything. But at the same time, though, I do think that he kind of always, he's always, you know, Batman never really changed, in my opinion. I think even up to this point, thinking about it. Because, I mean, once, you know, Justice League ended up happening again, and they were kind of, you know, a metahuman group that could potentially stop Batman from doing what he's doing. And using Lex Luthor, in a sense, I mean, he knew, I mean, once again, if he knew that Lex Luthor was potentially going to, you know, go and make more bat sentries without Bruce even, you know, knowing about it or whatever, you know, knowing about it, because he says, he's like, you know, I mean, like, the scene was like, Lex Luthor's, what do you think, Bruce? And he's like, well, you're tripling the workload now. You know, you're making them work overtime or whatever. And I think he's like, do you even have a problem? Okay, here we are. Batman, there you are. Well, what do you think? I think that you authorized triple shifts without telling me. He says, strength is in numbers. It took you a long time, but you finally learned that. Magnificent, aren't they? Between your design and my production, the Justice League doesn't stand a prayer of survival. Fuck, man. Soon we will be able to crush them with an unyielding legion of steel soldiers. And he says, I can feel your pulse throb from here, Luthor. Don't double cross me. Our objective is world order, not world domination. Don't forget your agenda. And he says, oh, I wouldn't dream of it. And clearly, I mean, once again, you already know. And, well, see, Bruce Wayne or Batman is dressed in white. So, I mean, kind of showing that he's clearly, you know, a good guy in all of this. I mean, getting down to it, I don't know if he exactly knew about, I don't know, I don't think he actually even had a problem with the fact that Lex Luthor, you know, made more bat sentries, because by the end of the day, he knows, if he's aware of all of this, I mean, and Batman's a pretty smart fucking guy, you know, as if he's been detecting all of his life, essentially, I'm sure you can play at least a little bit of 3D chess, or at least a decent game of chess, and, he got everything he wanted. He got his friends back. He got a bunch of bat sentries, not just protecting Gotham City, but like all over the fucking place. Which, you know, he's got a fuck ton more than he would have had if he didn't get Lex Luthor to join. I guess to join up MLS or whatever, Mankind Liberation Front. And he also knew that, once again, I don't know if I can't remember the exact moment, if they mentioned that there was going to be a nuke being dropped on the gulag, the prison area, the area where, essentially, I wouldn't say necessarily ground zero per se, but where where chapter 4 transpires, I guess, in Kansas. The only thing that he didn't, the only variable that he didn't know at the time he was trying to he had to figure out was how Shazam or Billy was under Lex Luthor's thumb. He found out about the worms. So that's the only other thing. But he was acting funny. And the reason why I say he was acting funny, Batman, especially during the fight, when it was all going down, he was telling he was, kind of taunting Wonder Woman or Diana, and Diana got pissed off, and they end up going all the way up into the sky, and that's when they notice the fucking jets. And coincidentally, it's just the two of them. And I mean, Batman, I think once again, he could be just playing by surprise or whatever. He's just kind of like, oh, okay, now this is the moment, this is it. And coincidentally, there were 3 jets. I mean, imagine 3, one to definitely, would end it all, but 2 or 3 just make sure that if anything happens, if, say coincidentally 2 metahumans were to be fighting the sky and they happen to see these jets, they could potentially team up and stop it or whatever, which is exactly what happens. They stop 2 of them. The third one is stopped by Shazam. And that's only literally because of what Superman, So there's a chance that if Shazam didn't do that, I mean, the third bomb would have dropped anyway, and there probably would have been way more damage. Which, I mean, I think Batman didn't want that, but once again, I do think that Batman thought that the metahumans were a problem, and he had, even he thought to get rid of them. And it just happened to coincide that Billy made the right decision, I guess, too, to get rid of all these metahumans. Because, I mean, once again, if you really, transition metahumans, so once again, more advanced bombs, more advanced tactical weapons, and, guns and whatnot, grenades, I mean, which are still bombs and everything. Anyway, using gas, using drones, all this, it's not going to change because, I mean, once the other side's just going to get better at it, and it's just the only thing in that war, the only thing you'll be focusing on is the enemy and not the fucking actual ground itself, that you're actually you're walking on. And eventually, before you know it, you're just around rubble, regardless of who's alive, left, or not. So, the whole thing, it's a very huge anti-war message. I mean, it sucks that a bunch of, by this point, I've now spoiled a lot, but, did I show that scene? I just want to show that scene again, because if I didn't show it, I gotta show it by this point, now that I've spoiled so much, I feel. But if Batman is, I mean, once again, because, I mean, at the end, I mean, if he knew that Diana and Cal or Clark were having a kid now, I mean, if he knew that shit, how could he not know, everything else that was gonna happen? I mean, he just knew, I have to be in the sky high enough so that if the bomb drops, even if the bomb drops, I'll be safe. And so will my friends. And, he figures that, clearly Green Lantern's probably going to protect those around him, and he's probably going to be fighting. I mean, it's so, I mean, it's honestly, there's an evil manipulation to it, but it's just honestly, look, doesn't he look like Darth Vader? He looks like fucking Darth Vader. Darth Vader with a mask off, thus signifying that he was a Jedi. He still is a Jedi underneath it all. Even though he wears, even though it's a Star Wars reference, I do think that there is similarities here. And once again, he's not using Jedi powers or whatever, but, dude, what else was that? I mean, I think, is there anything else? I don't know if there's really anything else to say, I guess. I mean, and by this point, once again, now there's just a fuck ton of sentries, bat sentries. I mean, once again, I believe they're called bat sentries. I think there was one other thing I was kind of talking about, but it doesn't even matter. I feel like I got the fucking message for the most part. It was anti-war message, how, yeah, I think I pretty much said it all. I mean, I don't know if there's really anything else. We can just keep getting better weapons. We're just going to end up with nothing left on Earth because everything will be dead pretty much because of this conflict. Batman really probably wanted all this and got everything that he wanted because he's a fucking dark manipulating bastard. But he's still on the good side. I mean, yeah, I think that was what I was pretty much finishing up on is he's probably as evil in a way as Lex Luthor, but he's just a good guy. You're just happy and lucky that Batman is a good guy and not a bad guy. Because if he was a bad guy, I mean, in a sense, though, I mean, the bad guy still wanted the same thing that the good guy wanted. But in the end of it, the good guy wanted, so, good and bad wanted the same thing, in a sense. But the bad wanted to use it so that they can continue their power and greed. Or their greed through power. And I mean, Batman once again grew through power in a sense. I mean, but like through defending. I mean, he knew that he could at least have a pretty good stronghold on his own. But by the end of the day, once again, it's teamwork that really fucking does it up. There was one other thing I think that I already mentioned. I just wanted to fucking just bring up one last time. I just fucking forgot again though. I mean, the message is anti-war. Oh shit! I gotta call this. I mean, I think I already said everything I had to say. So, with that being said, I mean, I guess that's pretty much it. There was once again one more thing. I just can't remember. Teamwork. Yeah, I think that was it. Like, a team. Like, you gotta work as a team. You can't. You can do you can do a lot by yourself, but you still need. I mean, like, Batman needed Superman to do all that, and Wonder Woman to get all the Justice League together and do all that. I mean, he still needed that other side, because without the other side, there wouldn't have been that containment of all the metahumans wouldn't be there in the first place. So, but with that being said, I mean, I'll leave it there. Once again, thanks for watching.